Welcome to Aviation Aftermath.
Today, we examine a disaster that stunned the world, not just for the tragedy itself, but for the painful lessons it taught about emergency response and aviation safety. This is the story of Saudia Flight 163. It's August 19, 1980. Saudia Flight 163, a Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, is scheduled to fly from Karachi, Pakistan to Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, with a stopover in Riyadh. On board, 287 passengers and 14 crew members, a total of 301 people. The flight from Karachi to Riyadh is routine. The aircraft lands safely in Riyadh at 7:06 p.m. local time. After a brief stop, it departs for Jeddah at 7:35 p.m. But just 7 minutes after takeoff, an emergency unfolds. At 7:42 p.m., the crew receives a fire warning from the aft cargo compartment. Smoke begins to seep into the cabin. The pilots declare an emergency and request an immediate return to Riyadh. The TriStar circles the city, dumping fuel to reduce landing weight. Passengers grow anxious as smoke thickens and the cabin fills with the smell of burning material. The crew remains calm, following procedures, but the situation is deteriorating rapidly. At 7:55 p.m., Flight 163 touches down safely at Riyadh's airport. But what happens next is both baffling and tragic. Instead of stopping immediately, the aircraft continues to taxi, slowly, down the runway for nearly 3 minutes, finally coming to a halt at the very end. Precious seconds tick by. The engines remain running for another 3 minutes before the crew finally shuts them down. Airport fire crews, waiting for clearance to approach, are forced to hold back until the engines stop. By the time rescue crews reach the aircraft, thick smoke is pouring from the fuselage. Firefighters force open the doors, only to find everyone inside already dead. All 301 passengers and crew have perished, not from the flames themselves, but from smoke inhalation and suffocation. Investigators later determined that most victims were found in their seats, some with oxygen masks on, others huddled in the aisles. The tragedy: the cabin was filled with toxic smoke, and the delay in evacuation proved fatal. The investigation uncovers a series of failures. The fire most likely started in the aft cargo hold, possibly due to improperly stored flammable materials. The crew followed established procedures but did not initiate an immediate evacuation after landing. Communication breakdowns and lack of proper training contributed to the deadly delay. The aircraft's design made it difficult for rescuers to access the cabin quickly. The official report concludes that had the doors been opened and evacuation begun immediately after landing, many, if not all, lives could have been saved. Saudia Flight 163 remains the deadliest aviation accident in history with no survivors. But it was not in vain. The disaster led to sweeping changes in aviation safety. Modern aircraft now have improved fire detection and suppression systems in cargo holds. Regulations on transporting hazardous materials have become far stricter. Airlines are required to provide mandatory crew training for rapid evacuation. And emergency response protocols at airports have been revised to ensure fire services can act immediately when an aircraft is on the ground. These changes have saved countless lives in the decades since. The story of Saudia Flight 163 is a stark reminder that in aviation, every second counts. Thank you for watching Aviation Aftermath. If you found this story important, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. And remember, every lesson learned brings us closer to safer skies.